instances of paranormal phenomena have been reported in this desolate place. Events that may reflect the area's tragic past.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Other Dangerous Podcast, where we talk all things paranormal. I'm Ken James, and this is Jason McKittrick.
Hey, folks.
And if it can haunt, howl, or dwell in the dark, we want to talk about it. So today, we are actually continuing our Civil War Ghost Series Part 2, and this episode, we are focusing on the hauntings of Gettysburg.
Yes, indeed, sir. Gettysburg, possibly the most well-known haunted Civil War site, battlefield, graveyard,
town.
Just, I mean, it's got it all, right?
It's got it all, much like the story from our first Listener Stories episode, the kitchen sink.
I mean, here's the problem, though. I know you love that story, but when you start talking about it, that's when the fucking flaming skulls start.
Oh shit! Fuck! Jay, get down! Get down! All right.
Is that it? Oh, give me the fly swatter. Give me the fly swatter.
We should have brought our proton packs. All right,
don't mention that.
Oh shit!
That's it.
Okay. All right, guys, we're okay. We made it.
All right.
Man, sorry, I'll never bring that up again.
Yeah, seriously. What is your friend, Shang Tsung? Whew. All right.
All right,
we
back
try
on
to
track.
be funny.
Yeah, but
all right, so in the realm of paranormal, Gettysburg. I mean, that's the place, right? I've been fortunate enough to visit there. But a quick little historical background for those who don't know: Battle of Gettysburg. It was fought between July 1st and 3rd of 1863 in and around the town of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Obviously, it involved the Union and Confederate forces, and this was during the American Civil War. In the battle, Union Major General George Meade's Army of the Potomac defeated attacks by Confederate General Robert E. Lee of the Army of Northern Virginia. This effectively halted Lee's invasion of the North, which was the whole idea of this campaign. Right. The battle involved the largest number of casualties of the entire war and is often described as the war's turning point due to the Union's decisive victory and concurrence with the Siege of Vicksburg. So that's as deep into the facts I'm going to get, folks, because I know that stuff, if you're not into it, you're like, oh, God. Yeah. I am into it, but I'm not going to go into it.
But didn't Abraham Lincoln kill vampires there, too?
Get fucked. So we're
all right.
Did he?
Yeah. Someone pulled out their pen and started writing this down. Like, wait a second, I gotta Google this later.
So obviously, if you know anything about Gettysburg, there are many locations around the town, purported to be haunted, and to say that we'd be able to touch on all of these places in one episode, it's just not. We just can't do it. So we've gone ahead and just pulled some of our favorites, but I just wanted to start with I got to go there probably about 10 years ago. It was 2010, so about 11 years ago. Yeah, and actually went for the purpose of a paranormal trip.
Nice.
And we did the whole thing, and as soon as we got there, you get settled, you get your park, you get your room.
Get your dowsing rods out.
Got my whole rig on. I have these lights shining in my eyes. I can't see it now. So you get out there, and it's just, you just feel it, man. You're just in the town, and you're just like, this place has it's got this heaviness to it. And it was something that, was remarked on by a few other people who it was their first visit there. They're like, you can feel it. Now, yeah, there's a lot of schlocky stuff there. They're like, oh, come to the Gettysburg Ghost Tour. And there's 6 of them. Yeah. And I didn't go on a single one of them because that's dumb.
Rumor has it, this is what, the unnamed soldier was beheaded. And,
It's rumored that 15 soldiers were killed with Burger King foot lettuce. there's a lot of industry around it, and rightfully so. It's
Right.
how they bring in, they need tourist dollars.
Yeah.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it is a giant cemetery. And many people were killed there. And you just kind of feel it. I mean, even if you're not into the whole paranormal thing, you get there and, like, there's a sense of, if you've ever been anywhere that has, like, that something big happened there, you almost get this sense of, like, oh, history kind of happened here.
Yeah.
You just get that feeling. But then going around the town, visiting the whole battlefield and going to, like, the certain points and the like the Jenny Wade house, and then there was, like, this one area where it was like we're in this back parking lot area. It's nondescript. It's
Right.
like we're like behind like a Rite Aid or something, and like all right, you go back here, they bring us to the back, and it's like a drainage area, and it's like an old creek. Like, oh yeah, right there. At one point, there were about 600 Union soldiers just piled there, dead, and there's no plaque.
Yeah.
And it's like, but then you're like, oh, that's crazy. How come nobody talks about it? It's like, because that's everywhere.
Yeah.
And they show you more, and it's like, oh, here was this. Like, well, how come there not plaques for that?
Yeah.
Because there'd be plaques everywhere.
Yeah.
Because there were legitimate, there was fighting in the streets. It was these two gigantic armies met each other in this little ass town. They were probably just, cooking eggs.
Yeah.
They're like, God damn it, I gotta go fucking till that soil again.
Yeah. And then you square up, motherfucker.
You're like, what the fuck? It's like, oh, God. I'm gonna have to go talk to that hedgehog of a wife again. Like, they just, But, sorry, hedgehog wives.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all those that listen. We're sorry.
No. So, yeah, it's definitely got it's got this flavor to it that is just like, well, here we are. We're in Gettysburg, and it's just, you hear the stories. Anywhere you go, you're gonna get like, oh, what happened here? Oh, all these guys died here. Or like, oh, there were some soldiers in here. They were, this building was being used as a hospital.
Yeah.
And while there were, soldiers here being tended to, there were like 20 soldiers upstairs with them, helping or whatever. But then, Union soldiers came in and like attacked them and killed the wounded. And then, like, it's like, it's just like they stormed the house. It's like, okay, this house is a battlefield too. It's like, so it's like all this crazy violence, ultra violence that happened for 3 days, just like saturated the environment of this place. And we've talked about this before. It's a concept that's not, alien to anyone who's in the paranormal. Not those kind of aliens. These are not ribcage removing aliens.
Or skull fucking aliens.
Well, yeah, you're right.
Zip Zap and Gleep Glorp were...
They were not involved.
No.
Wait a minute. What if, because the bodies were not buried immediately, not even close to immediately, you think they were examining? You think they got their probe out?
If anyone was there, Gleep Glorp and Zip Zap would have made a trek.
Those motherfuckers.
Those interdimensional assholes.
You know what? I think that's... Here we have a T-shirt, Zip Zap and Gleep Glorp. One has a Confederate hat, one has a Union hat. Have the whole thing, and then you have them under it, and then you have Zip Zap and Gleep Glorp, intergalactic motherfuckers.
Jacob, where you been, bro?
I'm sorry. You like it?
I like it, but
Okay.
where's Jacob been, That's what I'm saying.
It's not his fault. Where have we been?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Anyway, Jacob.
Oh, you think people would like a T-shirt that said intergalactic motherfuckers?
Or at least a picture.
All right.
I mean,
Okay.
we've had the,
I like when the muse strikes Jacob. I don't want to tell Jacob what to draw. I don't want to be pushy, but like
Okay.
the things just work. Like,
Okay.
Silduck.
Silduck,
Yes.
Robert Stack gloves with the stat, or the gauntlet,
Yeah.
brass knuckles.
Yeah. And if you don't know what we're talking about, people, ride or die, bitch.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get back to this.
Get down or lay down.
Yeah, exactly. So we picked out a few points in the town that are usually brought up, and we're just gonna talk about them a little bit.
Let's go.
It was, the battle was a 3-day bloodbath that would change American history forever, obviously. When the cannon smoke cleared, the Union soldiers had won, but nearly 5,000 horses and 50,000 men lay dead or dying. Many of the Confederate soldiers never received a proper burial. Now, more than 14 decades later, these unsettled spirits may still linger in Gettysburg.
If you're thinking about it, the horses kind of won this one, just on body count alone. you know?
I don't think there were that many horses, and if you go by the percentage, I don't think they could be considered winners in literally anything, because probably the survivors went right to the glue factory.
Sure. All right. I was just going with the base number, the surface numbers there.
How dare you? Horses everywhere just went,
You mother...
Yes, exactly. Okay.
Next week, outside of my work, there's horses protesting.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, exactly. Oh, you just derailed me. Where's my notes? Okay.
Yes.
The historic town is home to a surprising number of phantom forms captured in photography, including the ghost of what appears to be Confederate General Robert E. Lee. So, this brings us to the Daniel Lady Farm.
This is, I was going to say, General Lee speaking. This is going to get spooky.
Is there arsenic in the beer you're drinking? Are you okay? A dad pun and a horse joke right on top of each other. I mean, kudos,
Hey,
sir.
man, I just, feeling it. Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Happy to be here today.
Try the veal, folks.
Try the veal. I'm going to derail the whole mood of the podcast. Oh, God. So the Daniel Lady Farm was used as the Confederate Army's field hospital. Soldiers who suffered from artillery wounds, a lot of chest wounds and lost limbs, were brought to the farm to recover or to suffer through the final moments of their lives. So think about this. You got this ghastly farmhouse that it's just a house of horrors.
Yeah, covered in blood.
Yeah,
bodily fluids.
Amputations going on with like a
so there's bone saw.
A butter
noise.
knife. What was he using? I don't know.
Yeah, it was like a fishing knife, and you're hearing screaming and moaning and bones breaking to save lives. And just,
I imagine remember when we were kids, like the Fisher Price little saw. It was like just one piece of plastic. And just,
it won't even cut Play-Doh.
Yeah.
You're just,
sorry, guys.
no, we're not.
The farmhouse and barn saw their share of ghastly horror. The ghosts of General Isaac Ewell and his corps. Sorry, these words. The ghosts of General Isaac Ewell and his corps of 10,000 still reportedly haunt the farm. So this is the why I picked this one out. The ghosts of this general and his corps of 10,000 haunt this. All right, that's a lot of ghosts for one house.
Yeah, and the number 10,000, you think you can put it into a visual? No.
Even the Haunted Mansion in Disney only has 999. You're only looking for one more, not 10,000. This place has 9,001 more ghosts than the Haunted Mansion.
This is like 10 of the Haunted Mansions.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's in one place, right?
Yeah. And there's no singing.
No. There probably was, but it was drums.
Yeah.
Maybe a lonely bugle.
You think they were doing that while dudes were getting their limbs chopped?
Fuck yeah.
Why? That's
because
horrible.
the guy's there, he's like, drop the beat one more time for me, Percy.
Okay.
You know, I need to hear the
Percy, drop a beat.
yeah. And he's like, grandfather, I come to join you. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I imagine violin for some reason. I don't know why.
I mean, you wouldn't find the violin, maybe a fiddle on the battlefield, less of a violin.
I just think of that era music. I just think of, someone like, or maybe just someone whistling Dixie. I don't know.
Yeah, they were there to, see to
the guy sawing was whistling Dixie.
Yeah. We'll get this off in no time.
Yeah. Okay. In all seriousness, I guess.
Yeah.
I just found that astounding because it's like he has this whole corps of men, 10,000, and I guess they all perished during this battle, which that's crazy. Yeah. And if that's what it is, this house is holding on to this. So this is, I think we mentioned this in earlier episodes, like this is the ghost party. Remember? Yeah,
and the craziest thing is it's like these weren't like assault weapons. These weren't like, automatic rifles.
Mini balls.
Yeah, you're dealing with like, gunpowder, reloading, killing 10,000 men with like
muzzle loaders.
Muzzle loaders. Yeah, and like, you pop the powder off, go in, you pack it, you go back, there's bayonets, sabers, and then cannonballs. Yeah. It's just like,
horrendous wounds.
Yeah. The killing people with that kind of stuff is...
This was very personal warfare.
Yeah.
Face to face.
Cousins and brothers,
I believe that has been said.
Yeah.
No, hey, it's something that, you got to think about. I mean, it was also beginning of July, so hot as hell. You know, they're out there in these wool uniforms.
Heavy wool uniforms.
And, you know, you get...
Fucking uncomfortable hats, you know?
They don't look comfortable, do they?
Not at all. No.
No, that's a good point. So you think about it, you get your shot off. Once they get close enough, I'd be like, you know, I'm not going to stand here and try to load this shot.
Yeah.
You're going to go to bayonet and saber, right?
Yeah, and also back of rifle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
After you shoot your rifle and then your, you know, your pistol.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, I'm just gonna Mel Gibson beat people up like this in The Patriot. You know, I'm gonna have my mini hatchet and we're gonna knife fight, man.
I mean, maybe. A better illustration would be the movie Glory.
Okay.
With Matthew Broderick, Denzel. That's a great movie. If you
it is a great movie. No, it is a great movie.
They it's just, it turns into like fisticuffs. Like,
yeah, everyone doing the classic Irish boxing pose.
Oh God, but yeah, man, that's why I picked that one out because
yeah, 10,000, man.
Yeah, so and the next one I picked, which I actually got to visit while I was there, is the Cashtown Inn. This is just 8 miles west of the town, so I think we went before we actually went in, but they were like, you have to go.
Yeah,
was the site where the first soldier was killed during the Gettysburg campaign. First soldier was killed there. The current owners believe that they have proof of their ghostly visitors. Jack Palladino and his wife have pictures from 1987 through 2007 of strange orbs and skeletons showing up in the pictures. Orbs, we've been there, right?
Yeah.
But skeletons showing up in the pictures, that's, you know...
Like to see that.
Yes, I haven't been able to find other than their orb pictures.
Well, what's his name? What was his name?
Jack Palladino.
Palladino. He's like, you got to pay for the skeleton. You want the skeleton pics?
Jesus Christ.
You got to throw up a couple, you know, G note or something, man. We got these skeleton pics.
According to Papa Palladino, he and his
Big Daddy Palladino.
Jesus Christ. According to Jackie Boy, he and his guests have heard their share of thumping doors. They've also witnessed lights turning on and off on their own and doors locking and unlocking themselves. That's that classic, like, I'm not gonna say low-level ghost behavior where it's like, it's the stuff, is this place haunted? Did I lock this door?
Yeah.
Because you'll make the excuse for that kind of stuff, right? Oh, this door closed. Doors close by themselves sometimes.
It sounds like the entry level of like the beginning of a poltergeist type deal where it's like you get the attention and then when the fear starts, it's you know, it's taking advantage of you while you're sleeping. You know, like the entity, man, it progresses.
Wow. Okay. So next up we have the Gettysburg Hotel. This one has like tons of stories. The history of the Gettysburg Hotel is filled with tales of eerie hauntings, I should say. A ghost of a woman has been seen dancing in the hotel's ballroom. Of course, we got one of those. Paranormal investigators believe the spirit of Union soldier James Culbertson of Company K, Pennsylvania Reserves, still roams around the hotel, which is interesting because...
the pride of the Commonwealth.
Sure. Because apparently they've captured EVPs where he identifies himself.
That's the tingle up the spine. Yeah. Like, because that's not like where like the person on the ghost tour at Gettysburg's like, and this is where so and so apparently, you know, contributes. Like the ghost is like, I'm this guy.
Yeah.
Hey, it's me, fucking, you know, Jim C. I'm from, you know, Trevose in Pennsylvania, the reserve.
Second Trevose.
Jeez.
Second Trevose Brigade. I don't know. Yeah, no, that's interesting to me. I mean, there's also a case to be made that they were like, they went to a history book and went, closed their eyes and just pointed. Let's say we're this guy.
Yeah.
This guy's nobody.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, but I do like that. It's like, okay, the specifics of it, or the specificity of it is what makes it kind of interesting to me. I like that it's like, all right, well, it's a guy from Pennsylvania, so who knows where, but... It makes it more personal, you know what I mean? When you have, it's like, we have our own ghost. Here's his name. Here's his picture.
Yeah. Oh, and here's him identifying himself.
Yeah.
On this EVP.
Yeah. Also, like just tons and tons of pictures. I usually exclude anytime they mention orbs. I usually exclude it because, dude, it's dust or a bug.
We could get an orb right now. Yeah. I could get an orb in any picture at any time.
I got an orb right now.
And
next. I don't know how to pronounce this. Balladary Inn. I don't think it's Blattery. Balladary.
I like Blattery.
No, I like Balladary.
I'd agree to disagree.
Okay. While the Balladary Inn offers spectacular views of the countryside, it sometimes gives visitors a terrifying glimpse of life after death. Yeah, exactly. Wah. Located on Hospital Road, the inn served as a Union field hospital during the two-day Battle of Gettysburg. Susan Lonke, the owner, has collected dozens of stories and photos of her guests' ghostly encounters. According to a psychic, the inn appears to be haunted by Confederate soldiers buried underneath a nearby tennis court. That's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. And the
Hey,
thing
just
is,
on a whim, I had an idea. Could you fucking rip up your tennis court because
Yeah.
I said so?
Yeah.
There's bones under
and
there.
that's the thing too. It's like, I mean, like how many were really buried? You know?
I don't know who it was in here, but I'd like to think that I like to think it was Sylvia Brown.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
dig up your tennis court. They're like, hey, fuck you.
Yeah.
Bitch. You dig it up with those nails.
Yeah, you dig. Yeah, use your hands like a dog. Get down in there. Any AVPs from this place? Any identifying?
It doesn't say any EVPs, but there's plenty of. They have like it's one of these places. It's another inn where they have like the guest book, but then they also have a thing where like where you're staying in your room, you can write down, hey, have you had any? Did a ghost try to like violate you in your sleep or anything like that?
Yeah.
So you write your ghost.
The normal stuff.
The normal stuff,
Yeah.
right? Hey, come get felt up by a ghost. Or get the T-shirt at the end. Hey, I got molested by a ghost.
And then all I got was this T-shirt.
And all I got was this T-shirt
Yep.
and ghost herpes.
At least
They glow in the dark.
They glow in the dark, and most people don't believe it. That you have it, so
That's fine.
it's a win-win.
It is. It's I don't want them, but I'd be like, I would be too sad about
Yeah,
them.
and no one would really believe you. They're like,
No.
oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, you got ghost herpes?
Yeah.
Ooh. Spooky herpes.
I mean, it is spooky.
Yeah,
They
true.
weren't there last night.
When the lights were off, they were.
Well, the next night, because that's after you got them.
True.
All right. I'm okay with it. So according to the psychic, it appears that these, it was haunted by Confederate soldiers that are buried underneath where the tennis court is. But they never dug up the tennis court, so...
We're just going off the psychic's word.
I'm not. We're just...
I was saying we as like a communal, as like, the reader.
Gotcha.
Because I don't believe it either. So.
What?
Because I don't believe it either.
I don't either. Fucking psychics. Unless it's our boy.
All right, sorry. I made a mistake by making a blanket statement, because there is one.
Peter, I'm sorry in advance. Ken does not know what he does. He doesn't... He didn't mean to offend you.
Shit.
Could you please just bless our podcast once again and possibly come through?
I'm coming through.
All right, we're good.
Thank you, buddy.
Sorry, Pete. Won't happen again.
Might have a ghost mushroom tattoo tomorrow.
Or I wake up and I have a big, poofy gray hair. My mustache just turns black and bigger. My beard's gone.
Yeah.
I look in the mirror. I'm like, oh, I'm coming through.
On this episode of Possessed by Peter James, Ken learns to cope with giving ghost tours in the fucking Queen Mary ship.
Yeah, I have to end up like moving to San Francisco, and I'm like drawn to Alcatraz.
Ken has to deal with not being believed about anything he says.
I make like a turkey sandwich. I'm like, no, it's a turkey sandwich. And they're like, no, Peter.
No, it isn't. We heard about your psychic bullshit.
Yeah.
What is this? Fucking ghost turkey, some shit.
Ooh, spooky turkey.
Yeah. You said white bread. This is clearly fucking, I don't know.
Yeah, what is this, brioche bun?
Yeah.
Fucking...
Oh, God.
Yep.
Okay. So,
Welcome to our world, folks.
the ghost train of Gettysburg.
Yeah.
Tourists can take a 90-minute ride on the Ghost Train, the only ghost tour in Gettysburg that takes visitors across the actual battlefield.
What?
One of the tour's storytellers says he and passengers have smelled cigar smoke and seen the souls of soldiers roaming on the train or near the tracks while traveling across the historic battlefield.
You know what? That I would probably say the most credibility goes there.
I like that.
Yeah, because like, especially with like, you know, those aren't new tracks, right? No, and it was like we talked about in the last Gettysburg episode with when you were saying like, you know, the rubbing the jeans, and like it just the repetition, it just has an effect on that environment. And yeah, I mean, just that train going through over those tracks, it's just gonna kick up some dust.
And then like I've heard, because you have all these stories of like out in the old west where like there's ghost trains that the people still see apparently, where the tracks aren't there, they're long gone. But I heard that there's something to be said about like whatever kind of it's not electricity, but some kind of energy gets conducted about riding on those rails, these big heavy things. And so there's some kind of energy that like, I'm not going to say it's paranormal, but because of whatever energy is created by all the, you know, the train going over the track so many times, that it you know, it's like a conductor, no pun intended, of paranormal energy.
Yeah. And my grandmother used to spin a yarn of a spectral locomotive.
It used to rocket it past the farm where she grew up.
Yeah. We're up to two in this episode.
Yes. So I like that one because, one, it's going through the battlefield. You're on the thing. You're on the train. You're getting to get the sights. But like, almost like if you were on there and you saw like, you know, a soldier in uniform, you're like, oh, it's just a reenactor.
Yeah, right.
Like, would you like if you actually saw that? Would you believe it yourself?
Yeah, that's the thing. No, I don't know. I don't know, because like then you know you get to the next stop and you're like, we saw the reenactors. How do I get tickets? And they're like, there hasn't been reenactors in those fields for 13 years. Whoa.
Wait a minute. So the soldiers that I saw must have been their ghosts.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's that's a tough one, because a lot of these stories you have where like specifically the Gettysburg stories, it's like they just encounter a guy. It's like, wow, this guy's really into it. He's got dust on his face. He's all like fucked up looking.
He's bleeding from the gut.
Yeah,
from a gut wound.
Yeah, his intestines are dragging on the floor. Yeah. Wow, he's into it.
Yeah.
But
who's your guy? Who's your makeup guy?
Yeah, man, that's intense.
Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, we don't need that for this, but
and he's like, you see him. He's like reaching for the train. You're like, wow, that guy's committed. You know.
Yeah.
In reality, it's just that ghost needs your help. Needs someone's help. The sun like literally just went down.
I heard it for like 2 seconds.
No shit.
No shit.
Fuck. I was too busy with my own bullshit.
Yep. Sorry, we're just sitting here recording at my house this time, and we've talked about the sounds before, and we're sitting here, and he's just talking, and all of a sudden, like this, like it's very sunny today, and then all of a sudden, like, got cloudy, and then I heard the talking for like, it was literally like 2 seconds,
and I thought he was reacting to the sun going down.
No, just keep an ear out.
Yeah, I will now.
Because also a thing that's been happening lately too. You'll hear a step or two on the steps. You'll hear 2 creaks.
Okay. Fuck.
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah, just so everyone, like we were saying, but so we're looking at each other. I'm looking out the windows here behind Jay. So it goes dark, and like he starts reacting. I'm thinking, I'm like, because it got pretty dark because the sun was coming through the windows. So I think, well, no, that was okay.
Mm-mm.
Now I'm just because I heard like a whoo. All right. Anyway, back to.
Sorry, guys. I'm not hearing it now, but
okay.
It's got that feeling right now.
You've got me feeling that way. Because the light flickered too. I don't know if that's something that you said that happens.
I can't. It could be electrical issues, so I can't say.
But as soon as you did that, it did that.
Yeah.
And it did that last time we were talking about the ghost grandmas.
Oh, yeah.
So we might be in the middle of it, folks.
We could. We'll let you know what happens.
Yep.
As the sun goes down. Okay. So we got two more. Spangler's Meadow, not Spangler's. Spangler's. Just east of Spangler's Spring is where hundreds of Union soldiers from Massachusetts and Indiana lost their lives on the morning of July 2nd, which was the second day of the battle. Be on the lookout for the legendary Woman in White. We love those women in white.
Yep.
Who has been seen countless times since the battle. She appears floating, then bending down, apparently searching for someone. While no one knows her name, some have speculated she is one of many nuns who came from a nearby convent to tend to the wounded right after the battle. Ghost nun.
Woo. Yeah, there's some good ones in Philly like that from the Revolutionary War.
Yeah.
Because, there was like, Washington Square. There's thousands
we've talked
thousands
about
of bodies.
that.
Yeah, just... It would just be funny if when I'm playing this back and I'm in my room and I have like that Sixth Sense moment. Remember when he's listening to the interview?
And it's like the Spanish guy.
Yeah, and he he turns the volume up and you see like, like that'd be really creepy. And then I'll have to do a cut. Yeah, I'll have to do a cut. I'll be like, and at this moment, we don't realize that we catch on our foot, in our audio, the spirits of a ghost.
Hey, I mean, if that does happen, that'd be interesting because we were just making fun of ghosts.
Yeah, it's true.
And I don't know if there's anything to be said about like the taunting that people like to do now.
You know, it could have been my dramatic reading in the last episode.
No,
I could have stirred.
No.
You don't know.
No, I do know.
Oh, okay.
That was a different episode. That doesn't count.
Touche.
Okay, so we've got the Confederate angle also on Culp's Hill is the location of still existent but empty burial pits.
Okay.
Crazy. You got to look up pictures of this. They removed. It was a mass grave, and they removed them all out. So like the pits are still there, though.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like with there's bodies under the tennis court. It's like I don't think they were buried where they died. They probably took them to some dump zone. You know what I mean? And
some were and some were not. There's areas where it's like there's mass graves still, and there's some that were disinterred, and then
okay.
Mostly Union soldiers got better handled.
Well, yeah.
Listen carefully, and you might hear the painful and pitiful cries of "Help me! Help! Help me!" or perhaps ghostly plea from a long-dead soldier still seeking to return home.
I imagine it'd be more like a "ah," and then you hear "Tell me where you are, Josh."
See, this is why This is what I'm talking about. You're making fun of the ghosts.
I'm not.
You're gonna get ghost herpes.
Bring it on. I'll get some ghost penicillin. Everything will be all right.
Think about that, though, because I was thinking about this story. I've heard of it before. It's a burial pit, right? Mm-hmm. So they collect people from the battlefield, throw them in. What if he was still alive?
Yeah, fuck. And, medicine back then wasn't like, like a guy's like probably knocked out for a couple hours. And it still happens.
And what if it was like too much work to help the problem that he had?
Yeah,
they're working on him. They're like, the doctor's like, I can't. Fuck, we lost him.
Yeah,
and they just throw him.
They try to put like a handkerchief over his mouth for a bit, and then he's like, oh no.
Yep.
And then they have the one doctor that's been at it for like a week, and he comes over and he's just like, like checking pulse, and he feels it. He's like, dead. Next one still has a pulse. Dead. Still has a pulse. Dead. Yeah, just throw him in those pits.
Exactly. I think that's a great one because it's like all those all those bodies, dudes were just paid like pennies on the dollar to just throw bodies into a hole, and I'm sure that's probably what happened.
And I'm sure there's a lot of like quote unquote nurses helping these doctors out. That they're finding like a watch on a guy, or they're finding like a bracelet or something. They're like, oh man, he's dead. And they just pocket that, send him in the pile.
Exactly. So for my last little stop on the Gettysburg tour, we've got Hospital Woods. Hospital Woods on Country Club Lane served as one of the battle's primitive temporary field hospitals. Mm-hmm. In a recent paranormal investigation, gifted medium Kayla Miner, that's not a real name, reported seeing two officers from the 42nd Mississippi, one named Feeney and the other Mosley. A Colonel William A. Feeney and a Lieutenant Colonel Hillary Mosley indeed served in the 42nd Mississippi. and were stationed in Hospital Woods. Both were wounded at Gettysburg.
And could she check on any library and find these names out that these people were
All she has to do is take her phone out of her pocket.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And they were only wounded. They weren't killed there.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Well, there you go.
Other souls are said to frequent Hospital Woods, reportedly kicking doors, dicks, turning on lights, activating electronics, moving heavy furniture around, and leaving nail holes in the fine furniture at one completely locked home along the lane. What? That's random.
Yeah, and my question is, like, with the kicking doors, was it like, remember next Friday, where the guy's like, doing the back kick, you broke my skateboard,
I don't know what they're up to in that place.
Yeah, the nail holes.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Also frequently seen is the specter of a woman from the neighborhood who committed suicide years ago. So.
Is that connected to the Civil War? Or just a random suicide?
They think it's a random suicide, but it's like this area, and I like that Hospital Woods. Why do you call it that? Well, this place was a battlefield hospital where.
I totally love that. So like maybe this chick, who does off herself, like, I'm sorry, that's insensitive. This woman who does commit suicide. Maybe like it's like a House on Haunted Hill situation where it's like. You belong here, and that darkness swallows the spirits, and they become a part of it.
Okay.
I mean, that's in a movie, so it has to be real. But
it's an interesting idea because places can have a shadow over them. They can have like So, if you're in that mode, and if you believe that kind of thing, if you're weak or in a wounded kind of state, like that place like that could attract you.
And let's say this too. Who's to say that let's say you do pass over, and there is this other plane of existence.
Yeah.
And you get there, and then there's all these other people that are like almost in a sense like Beetlejuice. They're like, I've been here for years. Like, we're here. Just come chill with us.
Right.
Instead of like going into the light, you're like, oh, these guys seem to be having a party. I'll just hang here.
Right.
And they're like, what do? We scare the people that come by?
Exactly.
Oh, cool. We show up in a little bit.
Yep.
I mean,
I don't know.
Who's to say?
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting area, and I mean, I wanted to get to this one for a long time. I don't think, I mean, it's not outside of the realm of possibility that we might do another episode on Gettysburg because there's so much, and there's other,
Well, yeah, one last thing. We talked about it before on the show.
Yeah.
If you haven't, the Gettysburg ghost footage.
Oh yeah, the famous Gettysburg ghost footage. It's the one where they're in the wood. They're at the edge of the woods, and they have. And they have, the ghosts that go, up into the trees and
yeah, and it's one of those ones that like is one of the only ones that I'm like, okay, it's one of the very few of the ghost videos.
Oh, it's like there might be like 5 in the entire the millions that have been uploaded.
Yeah.
Millions. There's like 5 for me, and that's like maybe my top slot one, and it's very convincing. And like once you see what it is, like because people are like, oh, what is this stuff swinging in the trees? No, it's like a column of soldiers like going in this zigzagging
upward.
And you see like, oh god, and they're like white, which is weird.
And there's only portions of them that you could see. Yeah. And the best part about it is it's in the trees, because what's down there is just like a cliff, and they're in the trees, and the guy, the people walking around up there, they're in the trees. The guy, it's like that's the best part, man. And it's if you haven't, check it out, and if you can't find it, which I had trouble to, I can get a link, and we could send it out there.
Yes, it's a great. It's my favorite one, and we've talked about it on this podcast before.
Yep.
And it's just that's the one that keeps bringing me back to Gettysburg. It's like, what my favorite ghost footage is? I think it's this one.
Yep.
And it's like that's just some good stuff. And it's when you look at it and then you click and you see what it is, it's genuinely frightening.
Yep.
I think so, and I think that's what kind of like makes it what it is, because it's like, what else could that be?
Yeah. Right. So closing statements.
Closing statements. God, this one was a whirlwind.
It really was.
Well, closing statements are going to be continued because we're going to do some more recording. We have a recording session going on right now, so maybe an update from the
voices upstairs.
The voices upstairs.
Yeah. I do have one closing statement. Our boy. Big Daddy, what was it? What was the guy?
Jackie Palladino?
Yeah, Palladino. He's hoarding the skeleton footage. He's just do nuts if you don't cough up the dough for the skeleton pictures.
You want the skeleton photos? Fucking
Skifoos.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, for this episode of Other Dangerous Podcast, I'm Ken James.
And I'm Jason McKittrick.
And as always, have a spooky evening. Thank you for listening to Other Dangerous Podcasts. Have you encountered the other dangers? If so, you can email us at otherdangerouspodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to have a discussion about the paranormal, you can find us at Other Dangerous Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. There you can find submitted pictures, videos, and artwork from listeners. We are now streaming on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else podcasts are streamed. And after listening, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you the other dangers.